President Trump touting his successes in his first State of the Union and outlining an aggressive agenda with confidence. But as expected, the Democrats railed against the president in their response. Here now is former Deputy Assistant to President George W. Bush, Brad Blakeman, and liberal political commentator Wendy Osefo. They should look very familiar if you watched the show yesterday. We're back again after the big speech, guys, and we just want to start off with what you thought about it. Wendy, I'm going to start with you. A lot of people on the left say it wasn't bringing people together at all.
You know, and I would have to agree with that. And this was part of my comments yesterday. Is it's all about this rhetoric of him saying that he wants to bring people together, but what do those policies say? So it sounded great. It sounded, you know, really fascinating. But at the end of the day, what is he going to do today? So as I was talking to people, the comment that I continue to express is, I really do not care what the president said yesterday, but what I care about is what the president does today. And that's how we have to look at it. What is he going to do now that he's delivered that riveting speech? How is he going to implement policy that reflects that?
Okay, Brad, what did you think of the speech?
Look, I give him an A. I thought he was a statesman. Compared to the Democrats, literally, they stood for nothing. It was shameful. And the Democrats should be very ashamed of themselves the way they comported themselves in the disrespect they showed the president. You know, Wendy said she'd like to see the president's words turned into action. And I'll remind her, the president doesn't act alone. We need Democrats. And Democrats need to take the president's hand. He's willing to extend it in a spirit of bipartisanship for the nation. And if the Democrats don't do it, it's a tremendously missed opportunity.
Okay. Well, guys, you know, as we might have expected, the most partisan issue that we have right now is immigration. The biggest boo that at least I heard all night long was when he talked about ending chain migration, when he was discussing immigration in this country. Wendy, I want to start with you. Did last night's speech make it tougher to get that immigration deal, even though the president has now said he'll allow 1.8 million people to become citizens of this country?
I think it makes it tougher, and I think that that whole bipartisan language that they were talking about coming together in a bipartisan manner, it really puts it on the back burner, and I think that that's an issue. And just to Brad's point, I want to remind Brad that the Republicans have the House, the Republicans have the Senate, and the Republicans have the executive branch. So yes, he needs help from the Democrats, but don't forget who is running our government right now. And let's not make this a Democrat issue as far as sitting on their hands. This is something that has been done for all of the State of the Unions, where whatever branch is in power usually does not clap for the president if he is in an opposing political party. So it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. This is just tradition here.
Well, Brad, putting 1.8 million on the table as a number is a fascinating move, and I think it shows that the president doesn't really care how many people we give amnesty to as long as he gets that wall. That wall is what he promised. He's going to make it happen. How can the Democrats turn this deal down if he even adds to that, maybe even more than 1.8 million?
Well, Democrats have to learn to love America more than they hate the president. They need to come to the table in good faith. Look, these are problems that exist in our country. They're not Republican problems. They're not Democratic problems. They're shared problems. So we have to come to a common solution on how to do it. There's no doubt that we have to solve immigration, but it's not just one thing. It's not just DACA, which Obama created out of whole cloth, that is unconstitutional and dumped it on the next president. It's talking about chain migration and lottery system, which is unfair, and also the dealing with the dreamers fairly and equitably. Look, this president is transactional. He's not an ideologue. He will make a deal if the deal is to be made, and Democrats should take him up on it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Finally, I guess, Wendy, over to you. It was a big 2017 for the president. It got off to a slow start, but then he really started moving there and got a lot of progress done. Do you see 2018 going as well as we go into the midterms?
I would hope it goes really well for him because, as you rightfully said, this is the midterms. Any president that has come in around the midterms, they often lose seats. And right now, being that he has the lowest approval rating in modern history, it's looking like the Republicans may lose more seats than we've seen in the past. So he needs to get this infrastructure bill really going, because that's something that can gain bipartisan support. But I just want to remind everyone that this country will run out of money a week from Thursday. That's still something that we have to address. And with that comes DACA. So how we deal with those two issues is going to really have important ramifications on how he moves forth for 2018.
Brad, what do you think about 2018? How's it looking?
Look, I think Americans vote with their pocketbooks. And when they walk into that voting booth, they're going to ask themselves, am I better off today than I was last year? or the year before that, or the year before that. And I clearly think they're going to say Donald Trump delivered. I feel it in my checkbook. I feel it in my optimism. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump is going to get the credit for doing what he said he was going to do.
And I think everybody's got one's feeling it in their 401k right now. Guys, thanks so much for coming on this morning. We appreciate it. Twice, 2 mornings in a row. Good to see you both.
Thank you.